Hello, this is Heidi Meyers, immigration attorney, and today we will talk about your interest in starting your own business in the United States if you are in the fashion industry. Now this could be you have not made up your mind yet, but you have a germ of an idea that you might want to explore opening a business here. There's been a lot of interest in nearshoring, perhaps to Mexico, and also reshoring to the United States. Of course, there are many practical issues, including are you going to be able to get immigration status to start your business here? And what about highly skilled or professional workers in your industry? Are you going to be able to find Americans who can do the work? Are you going to have to bring your highly skilled artisans to the United States or have some sort of training program? So there are many, many challenges in starting a business here, and we will just start talking about when you're in the initial stages, you just have an idea that you want to explore and how you would go about doing that. Now, Vogue Business is having a very interesting series, and the one coming up on July 3rd has some very interesting questions that I thought I would read aloud to you that are interesting questions to explore. Now, I am not in any way affiliated with Vogue or Vogue Business, but I thought these were excellent questions. So, first, how manufacturing hubs are responding as global sourcing map changes. So the first question is, how are manufacturing hubs responding as the global sourcing map changes? So a lot of that, as we have seen, are with the unpredictable tariffs regarding not only China, but also just about all of Asia. What it takes to build resilient, responsive, and ethical local production. So one question is there a way you could build a business here in the United States where you have some kind of local production? Of course, if you are an haute couture business where all the clothes are sewn by hand, and you need very highly skilled seamstresses to sew those clothes, your concerns are going to be quite different from the concerns of, say, a fashion brand whose supplier is based in China, and then you have all kinds of tariff issues. So, your concerns are going to be different depending on the type of your business, the kind of workers that you need, and also the ever-changing tariff landscape. How countries with rich manufacturing heritages can bridge the skills gap while protecting traditional skills and innovating. So one of our issues, of course, here in the United States is that we have lost artisanal skills, and we are pretty much reliant on immigrants bringing foreign workers here for any kind of highly skilled artisanal work. So that's one of the challenges. How to responsibly improve access to high quality traceable materials throughout luxury supply chains. So even if you establish a business here, you're still likely bringing textiles, other components from abroad to the United States. So that's still an issue, even if you're doing your manufacturing here. Getting your materials is still going to be a big issue, and the transparent supply chains, the ethical supply chains are still an issue. So anyway, I thought these were excellent questions from Vogue Business. Again, I'm quoting from Vogue Business. I did not think of these questions by myself, but there's something to think about if you're thinking of starting your fashion business in the United States. Now, we're looking at the point where you just have a germ of an idea that you would like to explore. So your options at this point are either as a B1 visitor, that's a B1 visa, visitor for business, or if you are from a visa waiver program country, perhaps the ESTA. So if you come here as a B1 visitor for business, you can do business activities such as looking around at business opportunities, but you cannot perform skilled or unskilled labor. You cannot do work. You cannot work in the United States as a B1 visitor for business. However, suppose you're thinking, well, do I want to start an affiliate or a subsidiary, or just start a totally new company in the United States that's going to be my fashion brand, and I haven't decided yet, am I going to need a warehouse here? Is my brand going to have its own brick and mortar store, or am I going to use other brick and mortar stores as my distributor, and I have, say, my own online platform where I sell direct to consumers. Maybe you want to go to business conventions here, you want to meet with retail distributors and see if you could make some sort of partnership with them. So basically, the B1 is good for those initial exploratory activities. So you're looking around, you're meeting with potential business partners and seeing in a concrete way, like, where would you be physically? Do you want to rent space on Fifth Avenue in New York City, or you want to rent space somewhere else? Do you want a warehouse? Are there warehouses available? Those sorts of things. So as I said, you cannot work. So you cannot get paid. You cannot have a business here and get paid directly from that business if you're on a B1 visa. So we're just talking about in the initial stages. You haven't even made up your mind yet. Now, so one is the B1 visitor for business, which is a visa that you go to the consulate and you apply for, and you have to show your temporary intention that you are not coming here to stay permanently, or the ESTA if you are from a visa waiver program country. Now, you need to keep in mind the ESTA is limited to only 90 days, and you cannot change or extend your status. So you cannot come here on an ESTA and then later on, I've incorporated my business, now I want to change status to the E2 within the United States as a treaty investor. You can't do that if you came here on the ESTA. You would have to go back to your home country, apply for the E2 investors visa through your U.S. embassy or consulate abroad, get the visa, and return. So that's a difference with coming here on the B1 visitor for business, which can be valid up to 6 months. And then you do have the option of changing your status to E2 while you are in the United States. So that's quite a big difference. But one good thing about traveling on either the B1 or the ESTA initially is that once you get the E2, there's a lot of time pressure to show that you have a successful business here. Whereas if you are just exploring and you want to look at all your options and you do not want to commit yourself right away, it's much better you come and you visit on the ESTA or the B1, you go home, you come again, you think some more, you meet with some more potential business partners, and it gives you time and space where you're not pressurized to show you have a functioning business and you're making money. You can also do the initial startup business activities while you're here on the B1, such as getting your LLC, getting incorporated, setting up a business bank account, as long as you're not working here and you're not getting paid. Okay, so this is our part 2 of starting your fashion brand in the United States, and we're just talking about you're at the point where you are exploring, you have a germ of an idea, and you are just looking around. All right, so that's enough for today, folks. I am Heidi Meyers. I am an immigration attorney. I also do federal litigation and sanctions work. And my office is 11 Broadway, Suite 925, New York, New York, 10004. And our email is heidimeyerslaw@hmeyers.com. You can see our contact information in the comments below. And thank you very much. And don't forget to like this video and have a nice day. Bye-bye.